Hello, my name is Emma. Please listen to my story till the end. It is very close to my heart, and I am sure it will touch yours too. I want you to feel everything I felt, and by the time you finish, I hope it makes you think deeply about life, love, and the choices we make. So, let me take you back to a time when I was young and full of dreams. I had just turned 20, and the world felt so big, so exciting. I believed I had all the time in the world. I had my family with me, my mother, my father, and my younger brother, Liam. We lived in a small, cozy house in the countryside. The house wasn't fancy, but it was warm, filled with laughter and love. The kitchen always smelled of my mom's fresh bread, and the wooden floors creaked softly with every step. Liam was only 12 at the time, full of energy and mischief. He would run around the house, trying to scare me with silly pranks. My mom would scold him, but we would all end up laughing. My dad was a quiet man. He didn't speak much, but when he did, his voice was calm and reassuring. His hands were rough from working in the fields, but his touch was always gentle when he patted my head. I loved my family, but I was young and restless. I wanted more. I wanted to explore the world, make new friends, chase my dreams. My biggest dream was to become a photographer. I loved capturing moments, the golden sunset behind the hills, my mom's tired but gentle smile after a long day, Liam's muddy hands after playing outside. But I didn't want to stay in that small town forever. One day, I got an offer to work as an assistant photographer in the city. It wasn't a big job, but it was my ticket out. My parents were proud but worried. My mom held my hands and said, softly, "Emma, take care of yourself, okay? Don't forget to call." My dad, as usual, didn't say much. He just hugged me tight. And Liam, he ran to his room and brought me his favorite marble. He placed it in my hand and said, "Take this. It's my lucky marble. It will keep you safe." I smiled and kissed his forehead. I was excited. The city was loud, fast, and full of life. I got so caught up in my new job and making friends that I slowly started to forget about home. At first, I called my mom every day. Then it became once a week. Eventually, it turned into once a month. When my mom would call, I sometimes ignored her calls, thinking I'll call her back later. But I often forgot. One day, after months of not visiting, my mom called. Her voice sounded weak. She said, "Emma, when are you coming home? We miss you." I was busy editing some photos and replied casually, "Soon, Mom. I'm just really busy right now." She didn't say anything for a moment. Then, softly, she said, "Okay, take care." And she hung up. I didn't know that would be the last time I would ever hear her voice. A week later, my phone rang. It was Liam. His voice was shaking. Emma, Mom she's gone. For a moment, I couldn't understand what he was saying. My heart started to pound. What? What are you talking about? I asked, my hands trembling. She had a heart attack, he said, sobbing. She asked for you, but you didn't come. I felt my legs give out, and I sank to the floor. My hands were ice cold, and my eyes filled with tears. I kept whispering, no, no, no. But it was real. She was gone, and I wasn't there. I wasn't there when she needed me the most. I rushed home, but it was too late. When I entered the house, it felt empty. The warmth was gone. The smell of fresh bread was no longer there. Liam sat in the corner, holding Mom's scarf. My dad stood by the window, staring into the distance, his eyes red and empty at the funeral. I stood by her grave, holding the marble Liam had given me years ago. My fingers trembled as I placed it next to her tombstone. I remembered how she would brush my hair when I was little, how she would hum lullabies when I was sick, and how she would wait by the door every evening when I came home late. I remembered her soft voice, the last time we spoke, asking me to come home. But I didn't. After the funeral, I sat in my childhood room, looking at old photos. There was one picture of me and my mom. She had her arms around me, smiling. Her eyes were filled with so much love. I traced her face with my fingers and whispered, "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. I tried to move on, but a part of me was broken forever. I went back to the city, but it didn't feel the same. The lights didn't sparkle anymore. The crowds didn't excite me. I started calling my dad and Liam every day, sometimes just to hear their voices. My father didn't talk much, but I knew he was hurting. Liam, though young, was trying to be strong, but I could hear the sadness in his voice. One day, I took a leave from work and went home. When I walked into the house, Liam ran to me and hugged me tight. My dad came slowly and patted my head, just like he used to. I looked into his tired eyes, and I saw my mom in them. I realized then that even though she was gone, her love was still here in my dad's gentle touch, in Liam's innocent smile. That night, I sat with Liam in the backyard, under the stars. He took out a small box and opened it. Inside were the marbles we used to play with as kids. He handed me one and smiled softly. "Mom would be happy you're home," he whispered. At that moment, I realized something. I had spent so much time chasing my dreams, rushing through life, that I had forgotten the people who gave me everything. I had taken their love for granted. I regret it. I regret not being there. I regret the missed calls. I regret every I'll call back later. I regret not hugging her one last time, but now I have learned life is short. Don't wait for the perfect time to tell someone you love them. Don't be too busy to visit your parents. Don't ignore your loved ones, thinking you'll always have time, because one day you won't. If you're listening to this story, I want you to do one thing. Call your parents. Tell them you love them. Hug your siblings. Tell your friends how much they mean to you. Don't wait. Do it now. Thank you for listening to my story. If this touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It means the world to me. And by subscribing, you'll hear more stories like this, stories that make us feel, that make us think, and that remind us to love deeply. Because love is the most beautiful thing we have. As the years passed, life continued its steady rhythm. I grew older, but the locket never left my side. It remained a quiet companion through every chapter of my life. When I graduated from school, I wore the locket proudly round my neck. As I stood on the stage in my cap and gown, I glanced at the crowd. My parents were cheering. My friends were clapping. But I found myself searching for her face. I knew she wasn't there physically, but I still felt her presence. As the principal handed me my diploma, I clutched the locket and whispered, "I did it. Grandma, I did it for you." The sun was warm on my face, and for a brief moment, I could almost feel her hand on my shoulder. When I started my first job, I placed the locket in my pocket every morning. Whenever I felt nervous, I would touch it gently, feeling its cool metal surface against my fingertips. It reminded me of the strength she gave me, the quiet, gentle strength that came from love. And when I fell in love for the first time, I found myself walking through the same park where I had once sat with the old man. The evening air was cool, and the sky was streaked with soft pink and orange hues. My hands were trembling slightly, filled with excitement and fear. I sat on the same wooden bench by the pond, holding the locket in my hands. "Grandma," I whispered softly, "is this what you and Grandpa felt? Is this the kind of love you talked about?" The wind gently stirred the leaves, and the faint scent of jasmine drifted through the air. My heart swelled, and I just knew she was there, answering me without words. Years later, when I walked down the aisle on my wedding day, I had the locket pinned inside my bouquet. With every step I took, I felt as though Grandma was walking with me. The music played softly, and in my heart, I could hear the melody of her music box, the same haunting, delicate tune that once filled the basement. As I stood before the person I loved, my heart pounded with emotion, and just before I spoke my vows, I glanced at the locket. "This is for you, Grandma," I whispered in my heart. Life continued to move forward, carrying me with it. The seasons came and went, the cherry blossoms in the spring, the warm golden summers, the crisp autumn winds, and the quiet winter snow. But no matter where life took me, the locket was always with me. When I became a mother, I held my newborn daughter in my arms for the first time. her tiny fingers curling around mine. My eyes filled with tears, and without thinking, I reached for the locket around my neck. As I gazed at my daughter's delicate face, I slowly opened the locket and showed her the tiny photograph. Inside, "Do you see her?" I whispered softly, tears catching in my throat. "That's your great-grandma. She would have loved you so much." My daughter's tiny fingers reached out, brushing against the cool silver surface. I smiled through my tears, knowing that a piece of Grandma's love was now being passed on. Her eyes widened slightly. "A secret?" she asked with a curious smile. I nodded and slowly opened the locket, showing her the tiny, faded photograph inside. "This," I whispered, my voice trembling with love, "is your great-grandma and great-grandpa on their wedding day." Her eyes softened as she stared at the photograph. "They look so happy," she whispered. I smiled, my heart filling with warmth. "They were," I said softly, "because they had each other, and even when they were apart, their love never left. It stayed in their letters, in their song, and in their hearts. It stayed in me, and now it stays in you." She gazed at the locket for a long moment, then gently placed her hand over mine. "Can I wear it someday?" she asked softly. I smiled, through the tears gathering in my eyes. "Of course," I whispered. "One day, it will be yours." And I knew, in that moment, that the love Grandma had given me, the love she shared so deeply with Grandpa, would never be lost. It would be passed down from my heart to my children's, and then to their children. Because true love doesn't fade. It doesn't disappear. It simply finds a new heart to call home. And if you're still listening, thank you. Thank you for letting me share this journey with you. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and leave a like. It means so much and helps me share more beautiful and meaningful stories with you. And remember, love is never truly gone. It lives on in the smallest of moments, in the memories we carry, and in the hearts that hold it close.